It is not looking good for Donald Trump, cognitively and physically deteriorating before our eyes and rapidly. How much longer is this going to last? There were congressional hearings focused on Donald Trump's physical and mental decline as well. The hearings were supposed to be about other topics that MAGA Republicans wanted to distract from what the American people are thinking about. But Democrats started saying to people like RFK Jr., who testified before the House of Representatives, "You're a member of the cabinet. Are you going to invoke the 25th Amendment?" And then Democrats started bringing out the receipts, the exact same things we've been showing here on the MeidasTouch network, and really grilling RFK Jr. about the 25th Amendment. He is, after all, although he shouldn't be, the leader of our Health and Human Services Department. So do you have a perspective on Donald Trump's health? And the Democrats were able to really hijack a congressional hearing involving RFK Jr. to really focus it on cross-examining RFK Jr. on the 25th Amendment, on what the cabinet would do if faced with a 25th Amendment vote. And I'll show you in a moment what RFK Jr. did. But I want to bring out some receipts for us all just in the past 12 to 24 hours so you can see for yourself. Like when Donald Trump was waddling on the White House lawn, struggling to even walk in a straight line, the rash on his hand continuing to show, and he just starts saying that he's got a great relationship with Iran right now. Everything is amazing. And by the way, Iranian media is like mocking him. Like, what do you mean we have a good relationship? What a weird thing to say. Anyway, here, play this clip right here.
We have a very good relationship with Iran right now, as hard as it is to believe. And I think it's a combination of about 4 weeks of bombing and a very powerful blockade. The blockade is maybe more powerful than the bombing, if you want to know the truth.
And then before that, Donald Trump was holding a press conference and he was talking about how he never heard the word corner store before. Don't worry, I'm going to show you a bit the congressional hearings. I didn't want to show you a few more receipts, if I may. Here, play this clip right here.
Millions of American small businesses, including restaurants, dry cleaners, corner stores. What is a corner store? I've never heard that term. I know what a corner store is, but I've never heard it described. A corner store. Who the hell wrote that, please? And more.
And then Donald Trump was saying that he is not a senior citizen, that he's trying to help senior citizens. But Donald, you're 79. You're very much a senior citizen. Anyway, play this clip right here.
In addition to no tax on Social Security, over 51 million seniors now pay. Seniors are loving me, and I love them. Of course, I'm not a senior, so I cater to the seniors, but I don't happen to be a senior myself. Thank you very much.
Now, let's bring you into these congressional hearings, shall we? Where Democrats were grilling RFK Jr. on Donald Trump's cognitive and physical deterioration. I want to share with you right here, Congressmember Takano. Listen to him right over here. Play this clip.
2 days later, on April 7th, President Trump put out a statement that said, quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will," end quote. Mr. Secretary, the Commander-in-Chief of the United States military is calling for the eradication of an entire civilization. And 5 days later, the president started posting on Truth Social at 9 p.m. at night, continuing until 5 a.m. the next morning, and included an unhinged attack on Pope Leo, claiming Pope Leo was weak on crime. And then, later that day, the next day, President Trump posted this image of himself as Jesus Christ. Mr. Secretary, people across the country and around the world were deeply offended by this blasphemous image. Millions of Americans are questioning this president's mental fitness, his emotional stability, and whether he can carry out the duties of his office. Do you share their concerns about his mental health?
I want to call your attention to the last line of that.
Mr. Secretary, my question was, do you share their concerns about his mental health?
I want to call your attention.
Mr. Secretary, you're not being responsive. Apparently not reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, reclaiming my time. Mr. Chairman, direct the witness. It's my time, Mr. Secretary. You're not being responsive, and apparently you don't share their concerns. We are a nation at war, Mr. Secretary. We need a commander-in-chief that we know has full command of his mental faculties and is emotionally stable as he sends uniformed American men and women into harm's way. Millions of Americans are now wondering if this president is delusional and thinks he is Jesus Christ. Mr. Secretary, given everything that I've shown you today, will you insist that President Trump undergo an assessment of his mental fitness and his emotional stability?
Absolutely not.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time absolutely not. I remind you that under the 25th Amendment, you have a duty to remove a president who is physically or mentally unable to discharge his responsibilities under the Constitution. It's your duty. You took an oath to the Constitution, not to President Trump.
More from the Congress member. Let's play it.
Mr. Secretary, should President Trump fail a mental fitness test or an evaluation about his mental stability or emotional stability, would you vote to invoke the 25th Amendment?
There hasn't been a president who's more
Mr. Secretary, my question is, would you vote to invoke the 25th Amendment? Mr. Secretary, reclaiming my time. It's my question, Mr. Secretary. Would you invoke the 24th Amendment if he were to fail an assessment of his mental stability or emotional stability?
As I said, President Trump is the most...
Apparently not, Mr. Secretary. Apparently not. Mr. Secretary, we can all see that this president is mentally unstable, emotionally unstable, and is unfit to lead this country. You, as the nation's top health official, have a particular role here. And you are choosing your loyalty to Donald Trump over your loyalty to the Constitution and keeping the faith with the American people. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Well, you need the fundraising video.
Mr. Chairman, back.
And as you'll see, this was a major focus of the hearing. Here, play this clip.
About the president's mental health. On April 5th at 8 o'clock in the morning of Easter Sunday, President Trump posted this statement on social media. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. An American president used the F word in a Sunday morning message that was seen by millions of people. Mr. Secretary, does this raise concerns for you about the president's mental health?
The president is a bargainer, and he knows how to make good deals.
Mr. Secretary, does this raise questions about the president's mental health to you?
Here's what I would say, that for 2 generations, every American president...
Mr. Secretary, you're being non-responsive. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. I gather the answer. It does not raise concerns for you.
So then the MAGA Republicans tried to rehabilitate RFK Jr. and RFK Jr. after pretty much making it clear that Donald Trump is absolutely cognitively and physically addled. RFK Jr. is like, well, when Donald Trump threatened to end the Iranian civilization, it was actually a message of love. Here, play this clip.
Earlier in this hearing, Representative Takano had referenced Truth Social posts from the president. And I believe I heard your response to be that he was the most sane president. Do you care to comment any further, or is that your...
If you look at that Truth Social post, I was pointing out the last line of it says, God bless the Iranian people. So it was clear that he was sending a nuanced message. He was sending a message of brute force and violence to the mullahs to incentivize them to change, but also sending a message of love and compassion to the Iranian people. So you can look at it and say, oh, it's insane that he'd make this kind of threat. But he's a deal maker. He's a bargainer.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I appreciate that.
Then RFK Jr. is like, you know what? He's very sane. Donald Trump's a very sane guy. Let's play it.
More sane than your uncle?
He's very, very sane.
So I grew up in a place called Tipperary Hill.
He's more saying than Uncle Joe.
And
Uncle Joe Biden.
Your uncle?
And then RFK Jr. had enough. Like, the guy just walked out. He just like left the hearing. He's like, all right, I didn't know we were going to be talking about this. Watch as he just leaves the hearing. We could play this clip.
To Mr. Secretary, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
I just want to make these few statements.
I think I need to step out.
Okay. Maybe your staff will hear my statements. As the Education and Workforce Committee, we're responsible for the Education Department, a department that's been here since 1980, a long time after the start of the other department what we're dealing with today, Health and Human Services. Since 1980, we've spent $3 trillion to pay for a department that has presided over failure in our education.
Now, one of the things that I've been noticing as well, as Donald Trump's physical and cognitive decline really accelerates, state regime media, which calls itself Fox, they have to engage in kind of like a mirroring technique or a mimicking technique, because what they're trying to share with the cult is that this is how human beings interact. So Donald Trump may be behaving this way and engaging in disinhibition and saying all this weird and deranged stuff, but like everybody's weird. This is part of the psychological brainwashing that state regime media Fox does, where they act extra weird as Donald Trump deteriorates. Everyone's crazy. So I'll give you an example. Just in the past 24 hours, this is how Jesse Waters has been behaving. Play this clip.
I want the penis. You get underneath it and you just squirt it right into your mouth. You're saying that's not healthy. Don't just whip it out. Allegedly, he was just whipping it out in a car in broad daylight in front of the intern. Like, that's not the moment you do it. It has to be done in the moment of maybe some passion.
Right. And it's not too dissimilar to Donald Trump during a speech that he's giving in Phoenix. He starts talking about like Danica Patrick's hair. He loves her hair and how much he likes to touch her widow's peak. I mean, it's weird. Like, what are you talking about? Danica Patrick's hair, and she has a widow peak and you love her hair. This is what's called classic disinhibition. Play this clip.
Danica? Where's Danica? Where's Danica? I love Danica. I love her hair. I always liked her hair. I like the little widow's peak. Do you know what a widow's peak? Danica, where are you, Danica? So great. Thank you, darling. What a job you've done.
Now, people who are observing what's taking place and Donald Trump's behavior, and especially how it's also interfacing with the catastrophic war in Iran and these delusions of we've made a deal and the Strait of Hormuz is open and we're going to send excavators with the Iranian soldiers. We're working together to remove the nuclear dust. Like, all of this is entirely false. And it just looks like such utter weakness. Like, they see in Iran that there's a cognitively addled, mentally deteriorating, physically rotting individual in the Oval Office. I mean, China sees it, Xi Jinping sees it, Putin sees it, everyone sees it, and they're taking advantage of it. I mean, I'll show you over here what Professor Sachs, Columbia professor, very, very distinguished professor in international affairs, particularly. He's got a lot of great analysis on international affairs. Here's what he has to say about Trump. Play this clip.
Of psychological instability here that I believe is at work, which is that Donald Trump is psychopathic. This is a clinical judgment that is made by forensic psychologists and psychiatrists since he came on the public scene, and made repeatedly, and I think very cogently. This is not a man who gathers information and rationally processes it and maybe vicious, but is highly tactical, closes the deal, and so forth. This is an unhinged man who is impulsive, paranoid, psychopathic, and a megalomaniac. This is not the kind of person one wants in the presidency of the United States. I would say that Netanyahu has similar psychological.
And here's what he says again. Play this clip.
Appears that Trump is also showing symptoms of frontotemporal dementia as well. In other words, that this personality's always been there, but the loss of impulse control has taken over, perhaps because of dementia added to this. We have a very serious issue. There's never been a president in this incapacity. It's very dangerous, but I just want to emphasize on top of this is a collapse of our governmental processes. There are no consultations with Congress. Congress, for all intents and purposes, doesn't exist. The National Security Council, for all intents and purposes, does not exist. The intelligence agencies, for all intents and purposes, do not exist. They advised against this. So we have a one-man rule, and the one man happens to be crazy.
Also, you had Dr. John Gardner just the other day. He talked about the work that we've been doing here on the MeidasTouch Network. Dr. Vin Gupta, renowned physician who is the head of Meidas Health, has consistently been raising the alarm bells here on the MeidasTouch Network. And we've been leading the way. I mean, I'm glad everybody's talking about the 25th Amendment now and Donald Trump's physical and mental deterioration. We've been saying, hello. Here, play this clip of Dr. Gardner. Here, play this clip right here.
The man is not compos mentis. Those who know him well say he wasn't the same man he was 4 years ago. But I believe that he is showing signs of dementia. A lot of doctors are saying that now. Dr. Vin Gupta has been saying it. And the nature of dementia is it doesn't get better. It doesn't stay the same. It gets worse. And the rate of decline accelerates. Now I think he's not the same man he was 4 weeks ago. We're watching his decline in real time accelerate. And it's really quite frightening because the type of dementia that we think he has, frontotemporal dementia, the main component is a lack of inhibition of aggressive behavior, as well as loss of memory and confusion. But because the frontal lobes, which are the brakes in our brain that give us judgment, that hold us back from acting out impulsively, that's the part that's deteriorating. So not only is he losing his capacity to understand and comprehend, but he's losing all internal inhibition. And that's why he's behaving in this more erratic and actually self-destructive way in this, say tweeting against the Pope or cursing people out, that he's always been impulsive and aggressive.
I mean, he has
but
a
now it's starting to show in a more extreme way.
And then also as part of this, with Donald Trump saying just these delusions, he said that during the last half hour of his State of the Union speech, all the Democrats started applauding for him. Like the guy's like literally delusional. Here, play this clip.
And I don't know if you noticed, the word was passed to them from people that were watching, I guess, on television, maybe standing backstage. They said, this guy is killing you. Start clapping. And the last half hour, they were clapping for everything I said. They were clapping for everything, things they shouldn't have been clapping for, because they heard they were getting killed. Just remember that night.
And then he said he saved the lives of 50 million people. I mean, he's a sicko. He's a sicko. Here, play this clip.
Situation, they wanted to do it, but they said, oh, let's not get involved. Sometimes you have to get involved. You have no choice but to get involved. If you're going to remain great, sometimes you have to get involved. Remember, I'm the peacemaker. I'm the one that settled 8 wars. I settled a war that would have killed 30 to 50 million people. India, Pakistan.
And then he says that everybody in the world was laughing at us a year ago. Trump was in office a year ago. Here, let's play it.
A year ago, our country was an embarrassment. And all over the world, they laughed at us. And they don't laugh anymore. They are not laughing. They're not laughing anymore. I don't think.
Anyway, there you have it. Let me know what you think, everybody. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Appreciate you watching. Hit subscribe now.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.